What's up, Michigan fans? Welcome back to the Maize and Bluebeard podcast, where we talk all things Michigan football, basketball, and any other sport because we love our Michigan Wolverines. I'm Chris. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. You can see here what we're going to get into. We're going to talk all about new quarterbacks coach Koy Detmer Jr. as we continue our coaching staff series of videos. We're also going to update you on some recruiting news and hang around to the end of the video, and I'll reveal the question of the day results for yesterday's question of the day, in which I asked which position group on the defense is going to be the biggest strength for Michigan by the end of next season. All that and more on this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Let's go blue. And let's get to it. I am excited to continue our coaching staff series with Koy Detmer Jr., Michigan's quarterback coach. Head on down to the playlist if you haven't watched any of these videos yet. I've done one on head coach Kyle Whittingham, offensive coordinator Jason Beck, defensive coordinator Jay Hill, and special teams coordinator Kerry Combs. And now we're going to start breaking down position group coaches, taking a look at their playing days, their coaching career, and all of that stuff. And it's a lot of fun to dive in and see what they've done elsewhere before coming to Michigan. And I am really excited about this one. Koy Detmer Jr. is awesome. Before we even dive into everything that he's done and we break it down and we see what he's bringing to the table, right away, he brings a lot of energy. This guy is full of energy. If you watch clips from Utah games and you see him on the sideline, he is all over the place. He is celebrating. He's going nuts. He is just so full of energy, and the dude has some swag. I mean, here, I'll show some pictures of him, like in the locker room with players and on the sidelines. The dude is just amazing. Hilarious, big, huge personality, lots of energy, behind the scenes and on the football field. And also, one of my favorite things ever, I couldn't find the video, but I did find an image here of after a great play from Devin Dampier, he comes over to the sideline, and he's still got his helmet on, and Koy Detmer Jr. headbutts him because he's so pumped with the play that he made. I mean, this guy is Bryce Underwood is going to love this guy. They're going to have a great relationship. He's going to get these quarterbacks fired up, and in turn, he's going to fire up everybody, because not just the quarterbacks, but everybody on that team loved Koy Detmer Jr. And then later on, after we talk about what he's done, looking through, trying to find info about him and everything, I saw a lot of message boards and comments and articles and things from Utah before he came to Michigan, and they were really hoping that he was going to stick around for a very important position. They loved him there too. We'll talk all about that at the end, but first, let's talk about everything we know about Koy Detmer Jr. Koy Detmer Jr. grew up in Somerset, Texas. That's where he went to high school as well. We'll talk a little bit about his high school stats. It's just fun to see how he did as a quarterback in high school and college. But, of course, he is the son of Koy Detmer, who was a great college quarterback for Colorado Buffaloes, and then went on to have a career in the NFL, mostly as a backup, and a lot of it with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, don't get him confused with his brother and Koy Detmer Jr.'s uncle, Ty Detmer, who won the Heisman, played at BYU, and then, was in the NFL a long time, but never really found his footing. Of course, as a Detroit Lions fan, you may remember Ty Detmer as the quarterback that threw 7 interceptions in a game against the Browns. That was a lot of fun. No, it wasn't. But Koy Detmer is the father of Koy Detmer Jr. And let me tell you his high school stats at Somerset. What's up, Michigan fans? We are rolling along towards 1,000. Remember, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we will have a celebration live stream, and my beard will be dyed maize and blue. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you're having fun, go ahead and subscribe. We can get to that 1,000. And if you already have, I appreciate you. Share, like, all the things so that we can get there even faster. I can't wait. It's going to be fun to have a maize and blue beard. Now back to the video. So as a sophomore, he threw for 2,002 yards, 31 touchdowns, and he was the conference newcomer of the year and offensive MVP. Then, his junior year, he threw for 2,500 yards and 30 touchdowns and was on the all-district team. Then his senior year, he threw for 22,375 yards, 22 touchdowns, and was also an academic all-state honorable mention. So a smart guy. He also played baseball, basketball, and soccer and competed in the high jump and long jump on the track team. And the dude was like 5'11", 150 pounds coming out into college. So he's just a baller and gutsy and just a freaking awesome. He was just like hardcore, and I just love it already. But then he went to BYU to go where his uncle went, and he was a walk-on there, and he stayed there for 3 years as a backup. He never saw a lot of playing time. I think altogether he threw for like 190 some yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, just didn't get a lot of time, a lot of mop-up duty, blowout duty, But then for his final couple years, he transferred to Texas A&M Kingsville, the Javelinas. And he went there for his final 2 years, and he kind of balled out. Let me tell you his stats when he was there. Kind of cool. So in 2018, his first year there, he started all 11 games. He completed 220 of 366 passes for 2,347 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, averaged 213 yards a game. He also rushed for 2 touchdowns. In 2019, he started 5 games as a quarterback, appeared in 10, completed 137 of 237 attempts for 1,484 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. And he had some records that he set. So he had a season-high 450 yards on 37 completions for 3 touchdowns against Tarleton. So the records he set were 37 completions, 65 attempts in a game, and for throwing for 450 yards. Those are records still to this day, which is pretty awesome. So then what's cool is once he got done with that, he right away went into coaching, and he coached running backs and receivers at Texas A&M Kingsley, where he had been a star, I guess star might be a stretch, but where he had been a quarterback. He became he coached running backs and receivers, and did a good job with that, gained the coaching staff's trust. They thought highly of him, and that was able to kind of help him get his first big gig, and it was pretty big. He went and got a job as a graduate assistant with Syracuse, and who happened to be at Syracuse? Jason Beck. So he helped with the quarterback room. He analyzed things, stats, matchups, all that stuff. And Jason Beck was impressed with him. So he took him along to New Mexico with him to help him work with the quarterbacks. And he worked there with Devin Dampier. They had a great year, New Mexico quarterback. I mean, huge turnaround. Then, of course, he went with Jason Beck and Devin Dampier. They all went to Utah together and had a great run there. And he just has done a great job. He does a lot of stuff with preparing for games, just statistics and analyzing all the numbers to try to figure out the best way to approach defenses that they're playing against, looking at statistically and at tape and how a quarterback did in a game and try to fix things. Like, he is just going to be great because, like I said, he has so much swagger, so much personality, so much energy, but then he's also very intelligent and very smart with figuring everything out, game planning, learning from the previous game. Like, this dude is a hard worker. He's very intelligent, and he's just an extremely fun person with a lot of energy. Perfect hire for a quarterback coach, and he's young. He's in his late 20s. So just incredible. And like I said, I found trying to dig in and find more stuff about him, because it's kind of hard when you're looking at a graduate assistant and position coach, someone who's helping out. You can look at what they did, but they're not on Wikipedia. It doesn't have their whole coaching career, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the articles and comment section under them and forums and, Reddit and all this stuff, a lot of fans in Utah wanted him to stay on and maybe become the offensive coordinator because they really thought he was a great young coach. They loved his energy, and they really did not want him to go. They wanted Utah to sink in and keep him because they think he has the potential to grow into a really good offensive coordinator and maybe head coach one day. So Michigan's got something special in him. Hopefully they let him grow here at the University of Michigan, and he can grow into something special too, but we shall see. But I'm excited for what he brings to the QB room. I think he's going to be awesome, and I think that having him there is going to just be amazing, not only for Bryce Underwood, but for the whole team. When you have a guy like that, in the locker room, getting people pumped up and on the sidelines. Like sometimes you watch those sidelines at Michigan games under Sharon Moore and it's just lifeless at times. Just not a lot of communication, direction, energy. There were times there were, but I just feel like somebody like him is just going to get them pumped up all the time. And he's going to be a great asset to Bryce Underwood because this dude knows his stuff. He knows the position. He knows, and he's just so good at diving into numbers and statistics and figuring out how they can get better and what they need to do. I just cannot wait to see the growth we see from Bryce by having Koy Detmer Jr. as his QB coach. I think the dude's a stud, and I think he is gonna excel and take off and become something special down the road. But for now, we are very blessed and lucky to have him as the QB coach, and I look forward to seeing what he does with Bryce Underwood and all the awesome recruits we have coming in and all that youth and talent we have in that room. Michigan basketball is back in action after the tough loss to Duke over the weekend. They will be playing Minnesota tonight at the Chrysler Center at 8:30. It'll be on the Big Ten Network. And it is a pool party for those in attendance, so it should be fun to see the crowd dressed up in some summery beach poolside gear and having all the floaties and beach balls. Should be a good time. Michigan needs to get back on track. I'm sure they've been wanting to play ever since they walked off the court versus Duke. The rankings were put out. Michigan obviously dropped after losing to Duke. Duke moved into the number 1 spot, which was very earned, warranted. They deserve that number 1 spot. We could argue about number 2 and Michigan slid down to number 3, and Arizona, who defeated Houston, who was the number 2 team, they moved up to number 2 and leapfrogged Michigan. It is what it is. Rankings don't matter right now, really. Does it seem fair that Michigan went on the road to Purdue and beat them by double digits, and then on a neutral court lost by 5 to Duke, the number 3 team in the country, and they dropped 2 spots? I don't know, but Arizona also beat the number 2 team, so whatever. It is what it is. They're all good teams. They all deserve to be up there in the top 5. How it shifts and changes every week doesn't really matter. But Michigan is number 3 going into this game with Minnesota. We're going to talk about keys to victory in a minute. But some stakes for this game. Of course, if Michigan wins this game, they will clinch at least a share of the Big Ten regular season championship. And then on Friday night when they play Illinois, they would have a chance to win it outright with a win, which would be pretty awesome. So, got to get back to business. Got to come out, look good. And I got 3 keys to victory for Michigan against Minnesota. Number 1, and it has to do with the Duke game. Now, most people would say, forget about it. Put it behind you. Forget about it. Forget it happened and just focus on Minnesota. But no. I think a key to every game the rest of the year, including the NCAA tournament, is to remember the Duke game. Not so much the game itself, but the feeling. And for 2 reasons. 1, to remember the feeling, how it felt to walk off that court and seeing Duke celebrate and knowing that you put it all out there, and that feeling of walking off the court in that big high-stakes game in that environment, but the feeling of losing in that environment. Remember that, because you don't want to feel it again, because you're going to be in that spot again in the NCAA tournament. Remember that feeling. You don't want to do it again. Do everything you can to not feel that way again. And also use that as fuel for the fire, because Michigan's been hearing ever since then, oh, Michigan are frauds. They're not as good as they thought. Big Ten basketball's not good. ACC's way better, Michigan hasn't played anybody. Their resume's not even good. Blah, 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 blah. All the stuff. Michigan just needs to take all that, ball it up, and use it as fuel for the fire and just light some people up. Come out on fire. That's what I want to see. So, key number 1 is to remember how you felt. And remember also the other part is to remember why you lost that game. Some of the things that you didn't do well that you normally do. Remember that, learn from it, and go forward. What are the 2 things specifically for this game that I want Michigan to do? Minnesota, the reason they've been able to knock off some good teams is because they play a very slow, methodic pace. They don't run and gun. They don't speed it up. They slow it down. They play in the half court. They're very good at the half court offense, at cutting, sharing the ball, running their plays, all those things. they're really good at it. And if they can keep the game like that, they hang around and they have a shot to win. But Michigan's really good at pushing the pace and being quick. And if Michigan can do that, if they can play good, really good defense and stop Minnesota and just start having the game speed up and be their pace, Michigan's going to be in really good shape. So to play their own game, play quick, play fast, play focused and together, and that'll bode them well, especially because Minnesota is not a very deep team. They have a very short bench where Michigan has a lot of depth, so they can keep fresh despite playing a faster pace, and Minnesota cannot. So if they can keep the game at a faster pace, Michigan's going to be in really good shape. And also, Minnesota does not have a lot of length. They're not good at offensive rebounding, and Michigan is good at rebounding and has length. So again, using that interior strength for Michigan, just going at them in the paint, winning points in the paint and winning the rebounding game. Michigan's going to be in really good shape if they can do that. So don't just forget about the Duke game and move on. Remember the feeling, remember what people have said, and remember why you lost. Fix those things and move forward and use it all as fire. Fuel for the fire to come out and just knock some people out the rest of the way so that you don't ever have to feel that way again and you can be the champions that we all know you are. And then for the game specifically, speed up the pace, play your game, don't let Minnesota slow it down, play together, share the ball, have fun, just let loose and rock it out. And then also use that interior strength that you have, wear them down with speeding up the game and with your interior length and strength, because they're not a great rebounding team on offense and they have a very short bench, so they will get tired. If Michigan does all these things, I think they're going to win pretty easily, and it'll be a nice night at Chrysler Arena for pool night, and we can get ready for that big game against Illinois later this week. Go Blue! All right, now let's talk some recruiting news. I just want to do a quick update on all of the Michigan targets who are in the top 100 recruits. So let's talk about those. So first, I just talked about defensive lineman David Falarunsho. He's number 13 recruit. Larry Black has made a big impact with him. So he was Michigan's number 8. Just talked about him. There's going to be others to battle, but he's really interested in Michigan and he loves Larry Black. So good. Looking pretty good there. Cornerback Dante Wright, who's a number 21 recruit. He's a Georgia commit, but he's decided to take visits elsewhere and keep his options open. He's scheduling a trip to Ann Arbor with Michigan. He's had a good beginning of a relationship with Coach Guilford, so hopefully Michigan could get him. He is really good, so that would be awesome. Another new one, offensive tackle. This one's going to be tough. It's Aluwusa Milor Alubobala. He's number 28, and he's somebody that Jim Harding really wants to get. He's a high priority for him. He did come to the Ohio State game. He's intrigued by Michigan. He's intrigued by Jim Harding being his position coach. He wants to learn more about all the staff, however. Right now, Texas A&M seems to be the favorite, but they don't have a Jim Harding, so we shall see how that goes. Of course, we've talked a lot about Dakota Garant, wide receiver that is very good from the state of Michigan. Harper Woods, he's number 46 in the country. Oregon still seems to be the favorite, but Michigan is trying to make up ground. He's going to be making a trip in the next couple months to visit and meet the coaching staff and be around them more. So hopefully they can make a really good impression and just keep pushing and see what happens. I just talked about Miles Smith. He's the number 47 recruit in the country. He was offered by the old regime under Sharon Moore. Hasn't really heard much from the new regime, but they do want to get him in for a visit, so hopefully that picks up some steam. But in his interview that I shared, he also did talk about not starting football till 8th grade, feeling behind in mechanics and strength in the weight room, struggling with academics. So we'll see how that one goes out. He has the talent. He's got a lot of raw talent, and seems like a good kid, so we'll see how that one all goes, but that's where he stands. One of my favorite recruits, Bodie Sparrow, an athlete out of Utah. He's very close with Kyle Whittingham. He's number 55 in the country. He's also close with Jay Hill. He's a two-way athlete, wide receiver, and cornerback. And he's got a pretty wide open group, but he does really love Kyle Whittingham and Jay Hill. So he's going to come for a visit. Feels like we have a really good shot to grab him, which would be awesome. But there's some other teams interested. Oklahoma is one, so we'll keep an eye on that. Defensive lineman Marcus Fakatu, we've talked about him, number 56 in the country. Michigan's really going after him hard. He came for the Ohio State game. He's planning a trip very soon in the summer. We've gone to visit him at his school and stuff. So there's some other schools like Georgia and Texas who are also going to have him visit. So Michigan's going to have to keep pushing to see how it will go. Linebacker Bryce Kish, number 60 in the country. He is one of the nation's fastest rising prospects. He's from Michigan. He's a linebacker, but he's very athletic. So he's an athlete, but really linebacker is where he'll play. He's coming to Michigan on March 18th, my birthday. So hopefully that's a good sign. He did grow up a Michigan State fan, but he says that doesn't play a role in his recruitment. He'd love to be at Michigan. So we'll see how that goes. Michigan State and Minnesota are also interested. He's from Howell, Michigan, so we'll see how that goes. I think he'd be an awesome get for Michigan. And then Quinton Burrell, another Midwest receiver. He's from Chicago in Illinois. Another great receiver. Michigan's in his top 10. His sister plays soccer at Michigan, so he has some family connection there. I feel like if he comes and the visit goes well, which I think it will, we might have a really good shot to get him, which would be great because he's fantastic. He does have some other big schools vying for him too, but I think with his sister there, he loves Michigan, grew up in the state. I think as long as he goes there and he loves it and he feels really good with the staff, I think we have a really good shot to get him. Defensive lineman Xavier Muhammad is another one that is really close with Larry Black, that Larry Black's been working on with Vanderbilt, and now he's interested in coming to Michigan. He's number 88. So we have a really good shot, thanks to Larry Black, to get him. Running back Nigel Newkirk is number 89, one of Tony Alford's top priority targets to get for the running back room. He is, going up the recruiting board. There hasn't been a lot of recruitment news for him. It's been kind of quiet. He's a little more behind the scenes. But with Tony Alford making him priority, he did put Michigan as his top 5 in November, and that was when Sherman Moore was still here. So hopefully it'll continue to stay that way since Tony Alford's here, because he's a really good running back. So we shall see. He's out of Georgia. Cornerback Danny Lang is number 93. He's planning to visit Michigan, but doesn't have a date locked in. Ohio State, USC, Oregon, Auburn, all interested in the California defensive back. He hasn't visited Michigan yet, but he plans to change that. So we'll see how that goes. Offensive tackle Jakari Lipsey is number 95. He's from Kalamazoo, another Michigan native. He picked up an offer in the fall from Sherman Moore. He's another one that's a little bit quiet on the news, but Harding did go and travel and meet with him in January, and it went well. Again, there's some SEC schools interested in him as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. And finally, one of my favorite names again, cornerback Juju Johnson, number 99 in the top 100. Oklahoma is very interested in him. He almost committed there in December, but he's out of California. He is coming to Michigan April 11th, so we'll keep an eye on that and see how it goes. Hopefully Michigan can get him to raise them up a little bit in his interest level. But a lot of great top 100 recruits. Michigan has quite a few in there that they're looking at, so pretty awesome stuff. I'm excited about all those dudes. And finally, it's time for the results of yesterday's question of the day. Remember, I ask a question of the day every day. So if you haven't voted on today's question of the day, after this video is done, head over to the community tab and vote on the question of the day. Yesterday, I asked, at the end of next football season, which position group on defense is going to be the strongest for Michigan? Defensive line, linebacker, cornerback, or safeties? The results are in. And here they are. This was a close race, but as you can see here, the winner in the end was cornerbacks. They just edged out the safeties and the defensive line. Linebackers were dead last. Not a surprise there. I do think that because of I think we're going to be surprised, first of all, at the growth that we see from this team across the board, from the youth all the way up to the veterans. That was something that we always saw with Harbaugh. Players are just going to get better. They're going to get more mature. They're going to just grow in so many ways, and I cannot wait to see it. So that linebacker room is going to be much stronger by the end of the year, but they probably won't be the strength of the defense. I can understand why they're in last place, but who knows? They might surprise us. But yeah, I would probably agree with this. I mean, you look at the cornerbacks, and already starting the year, you've got your two most veteran leaders probably on the defense, and Zeke Berry and Jair Hill. Lots of experience, have played at a pretty high level, even on a team that was dysfunctional at times and didn't always have the best coaching environment going on. So now that they have that, I think they're both going to do really well, and I love Smith Snowden, bringing him in, absolutely incredible. So you look at those three as your top three cornerbacks, plus some of the youth also that they have in there. I'm really excited about that. I'm just excited. I think the defense is going to be great with Jay Hill, and I can't wait to see all the growth that we see. But I think we're going to see a lot of growth from the defensive line and linebackers, and that they're going to surprise us, and we're going to be really happy with where the defense sits at the end of the year and where it is going forward. I can't wait. That's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me. I always appreciate when you take time to talk. That's going to do it for this episode of the Maize and Bluebeard podcast. Thanks for hanging out with me. It means the world to me when you take time out of your day to hang out with me, talk sports. So please leave a comment down below. I respond to every comment about anything you watched in the video or anything else that you want to talk about Michigan football. I'd love to chat with you, or basketball, or any other sport, or anything at all. Just say hi. That's fine with me too. Make sure to hit the like button, helps the channel grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And just remember, when we get to 1,000 subs, we're going to do a live stream celebration with my beard dyed maize and blue. But that's all I got. So enjoy the rest of your day. Cheer on Michigan basketball tonight as they bounce back and beat the snot out of Minnesota. Make sure to join me for a live post-game chat. Keep an eye on the channel so you know when that's going to pop up. But that's going to do it. So enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video, or tonight at the live post-game chat if you can make it. And until I do see you in that next video, as always, go blue.